right, good morning everyone. Good morning. Apologies for the delay. We are back here as usual. This is a Friday and we are ready for the episode 227. And as usual, you know the drill. We get in with a prayer and then later we start with crush 500. Alright, so without any further ado, let's pray and get started. Father, we give you praise, we give you all the honor and the glory for this very day that you've brought us to be able to live in it. We say thank you for the morning, we say thank you for the night, we also say thank you for this analysis of things that we made. We also know the market has been slow down crush 500. Let's look at crush 500. Whether the analysis came through or we got it wrong, you can always check. So yesterday's analysis, we were looking at a pullback here, another pullback before this, so we're looking at another pullback before this to probably give even a fake breakout and then continue into buys. So that did not happen. What we saw actually was a breakout immediately and then we continued the buys, and then retest here and then consolidation began. So apparently we can see consolidation according to M15, so that's what I'm seeing. This exactly tells me we are clearly looking at this move according to M15. Actually, this is according to M15, but according to H4 we are kind of overbought. That also H4 says we continue with buys. So where might we see? So this is likely to happen later, probably next week. As much as we want buys, there's that resistance there. So if price comes to it and fails to break it, then you know that you need to take your profits and call it a day. So that said, we will wait for this is no longer necessary. So that said, we will wait for buys. We'll first use some fib here. Get to this really short sells. Alright, so now let's go to boom 1000. Boom 1000. So boom 1000, I wanted buys from there. And then later getting sells. This was yesterday's analysis. Buys from here to push buys to this and coming to sell. So what happened yesterday? I was waiting for this, but I did not enter it still because it was up and down, so it was still this was the level that I was waiting for. I was waiting for these spikes when price hits this 50% of this level. If I had put my stop loss down below here, anyway, it would have come back here if I was holding and taken out right there, and you can see it would have taken out immediately unless if you had put it a little bit lower. So this was quite messy for us to enter due to that kind of momentum see this move that I told you about yesterday. This move to push for that buy is currently happening. So now, so are we going to see some sales around here, or we will see buys to get back in? We will see buys. We need sales are so strong. So according to 15 in there, and then give us the buy, the sell that we need to continue with downtrend. So for now, yeah, I wait. I cannot enter buys, I cannot enter sells. I have to wait for the next H4. This was a good buy. Let me see how I entered it. Concerning what it had done here, alright, that's it. Let me work on that. Apologies. I hope you picked on Boom 1000 and Crash. Apologies, I didn't know. I had to reset my software. I hope that is clear now. Alright, so I was saying now we have to wait for Boom. We have to wait for H4, and I've told you the next H4 candle is likely to give us a week to grab that liquidity, and then we continue with sales. So the first two H1 candles on the new H4, they are likely to be the buys, which may actually push buys to grab that liquidity, and then later than the last two H1 candles, there may be sells, so you need to be waiting for those. So let's wait as we get to another asset. Boom 500. Apologies guys, once again. Hope you picked on what I said on Crash 500. Nevertheless, I will have to do a recap and repeat that what I said on Crash. Alright, so Boom 500. Wow, look at that. You remember, you guys, I kept on telling you that this move is still on, and yesterday, remember, we missed this move right here. I was skeptical about it, so I told you to close, but it continued, and then just like I had told you, okay, let me bring it here. This is where we were, and it retested and broke that support level, and it came to our TP. This was our TP, which is according to H4. So I want to delete this now, and then come to this. This was our TP according to H4. and clearly you can see it has reached it. I had told you we had two. This one here, this is the one I've just deleted, the one that was here, but also this other one, which was a fair value gap. So it has come all the way to grab the liquidity on the fair value gap, but also now we can start to think of buys. So delete all this, delete that, delete all this that we have used. I am quite pissed at myself that I was unable to come again and check how it went, because I was already biased about the whole market being slow, so I didn't bother coming back to this asset. Once I made some money on jump 25, that was it. I could not again look at any other asset. So yesterday I only traded one asset, jump 25. So let's look at it now. Now that we know we are sort of ready for buys, this is a signal we are getting on CCI right down below. What are we getting on daily? Daily we still have that break of structure. Now we have that kind of a support down here, or a conference area that we are seeing currently where price is. Alright, so are we going to see price come back again? According to H4 it is going to do that. According to H4 it is going to do that. So we are going to wait. If I get any signal here, then it means I'm going to be anticipating a W. I'm going to be anticipating a W. This kind of W right there. That is what I'll be anticipating. This is a left arm. Then we have the I don't remember what we call that, but then this will be our right arm that will be anticipating. So apparently I need to wait for any signal, reversal signal coming in from down here according to H1 and M15. So if I get a signal right here, a reversal signal on M15, that will be enough for me to make this entry. You can see this is a move that you cannot afford to miss out. Why? This is a reason. M15, you're seeing that it has started to give us buys, but that is not the case. That is not what the most important point. The important point here is you're getting the signal from CCI down below there on M15. You're getting it on M30. You're getting it on H1 down there. You can see it, but also not only H1, but you're still getting it on H4. That is enough for us to know that sellers are coming in strong. But we cannot just enter like that. We have to wait on M15 to give us, you know the drill, to give us something like that, something like this, and then we can make the entry. But most of the time it gives us something like that, and then it makes a pullback either around this area or this area. It can make a pullback, and that will becomes the actual entry. This is most of the times how it does. This becomes your entry right here. But for sniper entries, this becomes your entry when it comes down here again. This becomes your entry. Now all these things I teach them in the course, the course I talked about. I've had students, we talk about this in the course, so I can't say much in detail about this, why and what have you, whatever details that need to be talked about here. Those who have attended one of my classes, they already know why we have to anticipate something like this. So for now, this is what I'll be anticipating according to M15 to give me the actual signal that I can actually grab. So right here, what you need to know is right here it can easily go down below here to give a fake breakout to take the stop losses of the early buyers. down here. Excuse me. It can do that, or it may not and come just directly to this order block on M15, and then we get our entry for the buys, and then later it will come again, and this will be according to H1 to give us also an entry according to H1. So hold on, be patient, and wait for these moves. All right, enough of that. Let's now head over to V25 1S. So Vol25 1S, you can see the momentum even without saying anything. You can see that. How can you trade a momentum like this? Up to now, this is a move that we were anticipating. Price to come to this fair value gap, or to try and give us a fake breakout down below here to come to the order block according to H4. This is the order block here. I did not mark it, I did not label it, but it is there. That's why I have this going to that tip of that order block of H4, and then we can come in with buys later, but the momentum is still that weird. So either way, I'm not trading this. Either way, I'm not trading this asset until I see something that I can work with. I'm still going to follow the yesterday's analysis. I'm not going to change it. I still need this kind of a move. It may not happen now, it may even not happen today, but price has to come and mitigate this liquidity right here. This is an H4 fair value gap. It has to, so that's why this analysis is still valid right here, of which I've told you it can even easily continue and break, like even before it goes back there, it can continue and break and even come and mitigate this daily one. This is a daily fair value gap right there. Mitigate that, and then it gives us the buys. So we have to be patient with this kind of low momentum. You know, this kind of structure here, as you see it, you know it will give you a breakout to give you this kind of a move. You can see that, but also it can even go for the second TP, which will be that. It can even go for the third TP, which will be that. It can even go for the third TP, which will be that, and you can see it will be coming to this other level. It will be coming to this other level. So either way, just hack in there, hold on, don't panic, don't do anything with this kind of momentum we are seeing. V75. V75, what happened? Alright, so same thing. It was consolidating within that flag. So we know this was the momentum. Yes, I mean this was the anticipation yesterday that we were looking for. Buys from this level, or if it breaks this order block, we continue with sales. That was the analysis. So apparently we are seeing that as our level up there, and then down below here we have this. So it is failing to break that. It is failing to break that, but also it is failing to go down. But according to this structure here that we have, first put this one here, according to this structure that we have, which is giving us sort of like a flag, we know that price will eventually break and give us first that kind of a move, something like that. So in fact, apparently we are in buys. In fact, I can enter buys right now. Can I think I can. Yeah, I think I can. Let me go to M15. I see. Yeah, I can. According to M15, I can enter buys. I can enter buys, and we'll have to put my stop loss all the way down here. That is where I would have to put my stop loss according to this So that means my TP will be just on, my first TP will be here to grab that short move, which will be like a 1 to 1.5, and then you can even go as high as that to look for that. It may fail to first break this, first lingers around here, and then it will break, but that is a TP there. It may not just immediately break it, but hopefully, since it has touched this down below here 2 times, it may actually come and break it now and continue. So we have to wait and see what comes out, but my buy has been locked in and we just have to wait. If it comes here down below, then it will be looking for us who have just quickly entered, not waiting for H1, not really. M30 and H1, they are both showing us sells. I wonder why. Why are we seeing sells on H1? There's rejection here coming in from sellers, from buyers I mean, even here, but then this is small rejection coming in from sellers. So are we going to see it broken out? Yeah, we're going to break it. We are going to break it. Buyers have the most rejection. You can see rejection here from buyers and then rejection there from buyers. Compared to sellers' rejection, buyers have the strong rejection coming in. They have the momentum, you can see. So apparently I'm going to keep my my buys held up right there. I may remove my stop loss if I see it trying to be taken out now, because I'm tired of these guys manipulating and trying to take the stop losses. So I may remove it, and that means if I remove it, I will be looking at entering another entry around these areas if it tries to push for this kind of a move, but I doubt it will, because of the current rejection, which signifies momentum for buyers right here. So apparently that is a buy that we've just entered, and remember, we are looking for that kind of a TP right about there. That's a kind of a TP we are looking for. Once we hit that, we move out until price breaks this, then you can again enter to aim for that other second TP, up there. But for now, aim for this and move out. Enough of V75. Let's now head over to J50. So J50, so the move yesterday happened. That move yesterday happened, even though it did not reach. Was it yesterday? This was the other day. Move from there to there, it reached, even though it did not hit that level. Then started to sell again, so I can delete that. This, you can take it away. Alright, so take away this, go to H4. Yesterday it sold perfectly. What happened? What were we looking at? Okay, hitting that. So I don't know why we did not enter any. I think we were late to enter. Yeah, that's the case. We were late to enter, and we were waiting for it right down here to look for buys. So we were late to enter this kind of a sale. By the time we came in for the analysis, let's see, 9 around that level. 9, 10, 11 midday. Yeah, I don't know why we did not enter it, because clearly, let's see, this is what 7, 8, 9. So we were here around this hour here. So I don't know why we did not enter this. Yeah, we should have entered this cell, though it was tricky according to M15. Let's look at M15. It was a tricky one. It was a tricky one too. You would have entered when price broke this level. That would have been your entry. When price broke that level, that is where we should have entered from. Yeah, and that was around what time? Let's see, that was around midday, 2:30. Around 2:30, that's when we were supposed to make our entry. Yeah. All right, so enough of yesterday, what we missed and what, so we learned one or two things from there. Yeah, let's now get to let's get to H4. What is happening? All right, a pullback has happened, so we should be getting in strongly with buys. So why aren't we? Why? Because price has not yet gotten enough momentum to push for buys. Let's go to M30. It's not yet ready. So for this case, you want to wait for price to break this level right there. Once price breaks that level, then you want to enter your buys. You want to enter your buys, and this time these buys are likely, remember this was a break of structure right here. This was a break of structure right there. Let's go to daily. Wait a minute. Daily needs a downtrend. That's why I have this as I wanted to sell from there, so it's going to be crazy. So go to H4. That was a break of structure. Then price went back up and then gave us a change of character right here, right there. Now we've been seeing break of structure here to the downtrend, so it means we are in actually a downtrend. We are in a downtrend. So if that is the case, that means sellers are still having the say. Sellers, that's why the momentum even for buys is very slow. So why would it go back up there? To mitigate this liquidity, according to H4, to mitigate that, that's the reason why it would actually go up there. So the current, so today is likely to be a buy day. Today is likely to be a buy day, but the only way you're going to enter it is to get a perfect entry, which will eventually happen when price does what? I need to get a clear move here where I can anticipate a buy. I don't see one. So we had this here. We still have that, so I want to hold it there, and then we have this down below here, and we have that down below there. So price can eventually first go down again. According to M5 and M15, price can eventually first go down below again, then it gives us this kind of a move. To come to this fair value gap right here. So having seen this, the whole of today is going to be a weird day with a slow momentum thing, but whether it becomes slow or not, it will come to mitigate this fair value gap. So the whole of today is likely to be a slow day until tomorrow on J50. Until tomorrow market may move perfectly in this kind of a sell move, this kind of a sell from there. So tomorrow is likely to be the day for the sell that we actually need. So for now, please don't do anything, just leave it. Don't trade unless if it comes here and you are ready to enter your buys and monitor them strongly, monitor them, then you can look for the buys to come to this fair value gap, which is according to H4. That is the fair value gap on H4. So I would rather tell you not to trade it and wait for tomorrow. Yeah. J25. So yesterday's move, this was yesterday's move. I entered early, kept on, it took me out. The other last move I entered on another account. So this is where we first made the moves, and it took me out in profits. Then the next one, it was a loss when it made this weird jump. Took me out, and then after that was the buy move, which even broke that level and went all the way up there. So those who are on VIP, I showed you the one I had taken profit around there, when I had taken profits around here. So that is the one that I was basing on. So now all this is not necessary. I wanted sales when it reaches there. Sales began, but they were fake and then broke out, and then later the sale came through just like we had planned earlier. So now I can delete all this and then look at today. So there is a lot of rejection coming in from sellers. You can see it from those wicks up there. You can see it, rejection coming in from sellers. You can see that. But then the previous H4 candle, you can see that it had some momentum, even though it closed with rejection coming in from sellers. So if we get all that information we've seen on those candles, and we combine them with what we see on CCI, we understand that sales are on. Even though much more, we can also add that we've seen and add it to this very analysis of the flag. Then we know the price is coming in from there to here. This will be our TP level right about there. So the sellers are quite coming into shape to look for this kind of a pullback. That's where you see I have a buy from this very order block still. This is a daily OB. Remember that. Is it a daily, weekly? So I wanted buys from here to reach there. So up to now we haven't gotten them. We still are consolidating. So we are likely to get this move, and this is going to be a confirmation according to daily time frame. When market moves down below here, this will be a confirmation according to daily time frame, and then we can enter this perfect buy to reach all the way up there. So for now, what do? Let's go to H1. The new H4 has just started, so it's kind of tricky for us, but M15 is already looking for sales. Remember, I've told you H4 needs sales M30 is quite following what we are seeing on H1, which is buys in a weird way. Price is above our 10 MA on H1, even on H4, but on M15 it is below our 10 MA. So it's gonna be a tricky for us to make that decision. So what can I tell you now? You can wait for price to be below our 10 MA, probably on H1 or on H4, for you to make your sales, or when price breaks this trend line, then it could be your perfect entry. But until then, don't try to force any sales. Just leave it for now. Don't try to look for a sniper entry now. This is not a case for you to look for a sniper entry. You need to look for a sniper entry for the buys when price comes around here. That could be your target, but not in a structure like this in here. This is not a case for you to look for a sniper entry. Yeah. All right, perfect. That is enough for us. That is enough for us right there. Then we can now we can now go on and look and go to another asset, which will be J10, Always, guys, don't never forget to let me know what you think about these assets, yeah, so that we can always be on the same page. If you're seeing something different than what I'm seeing, it's always good to hear from you guys, and we can compare and get to know which way we can take. All right, so this J10 also consolidated right here, but I remember telling you that it's likely to get to that level that we wanted it to reach. You can see it grabbed it went and eventually got there. So yesterday what it did is it gave a pullback here to that OB and then gave the buy late in the evening, gave us that kind of a buy, and it has actually hit that target of ours that we wanted all the way from down here. We wanted that target. Now it has hit it, and now the sale has begun. So this move is no longer necessary. We've reached the target. This can go. I believe even this, we don't need it. Now get to daily time frame. That's what we wanted. Sales now from there. First remove this there, drag this around here. Yeah, you can see that is where we have our resistance. From there, that is why we have that is a strong resistance level, and that's why we are anticipating sales from there. So according to that, we should be getting in with sales. From that angle. And even looking at H4 and H1, sales have already begun. And the funny bit of it, the beauty about this is that this was not a break of structure right there. This was not a break of structure on H4. That means price is going to come down here. Is it going to break this level? We'll see about that. But is it coming to here? Yes, it is coming there. According to H1, it is strongly coming to this level. According to M15, same thing. It is strongly coming to that level. Can I enter now? No. According to M15, I have to wait for something like that and then make my entry to come here. So that is it. I don't want to confuse anything much more than that. I want it to come either there or to run there and then get in with my sell, or it comes to this. Remember the drill. It comes to this level to give me that. So apparently, wait, patiently wait. Let's go to M5 and see if we are ready for this move. We are almost ready for this move on M5. So we have to wait. There's gonna be this move on M5 for this kind of a pullback according to M15 that we need. So can we wait for this? Yeah, we will be waiting, and the confirmation will come even on M1. So there's gonna be this move, and then we sell it later. We are going to buy, then sell. I hope that makes sense and you guys can see what I'm talking about there. So for now, just wait. I don't want to tell you to enter now for the buys, but if you can, and you know you can have you can be one of those that enter without a stop loss, then you can do that, or you put your stop loss all the way down here to look for that kind of a buy. All right, that's it on J10. Lastly is gold. Let's talk about gold, and we call it a day. So gold, I was still looking for buys. But this right here gave me a different perspective. Yesterday we were looking for that buy, and then later, I don't know if yesterday we had some news, I'm not sure, it failed to break that to give us a new higher high, and what happened was we saw a change of character, and it is both on H1 and H4. You can see that became a change of character, even though on H4 it looks like a fake change of character. According to H4, it looks to be a fake change of character. Mark that. So if it turns out to be a fake change of character, then price is going to actually break this high, which we are already seeing it that it is a weak high. Then it will continue to reach our target all the way to that level. So what do we need to consider? Look at the rejection coming in from sellers compared to, from buyers compared to sellers. You're seeing it. This and that could have been an indecision. One can consider that candle, yesterday's candle, to be an indecision. But remember, most of the times, indecision candles are very crazy signals. They give a crazy signal to us. Means either we will, most of the times we consider continuation. When we see an indecision, most of the times we consider continuation of the previous trend, which will be buys, but sometimes it actually gives us a reversal. But then for you to confirm that it is a reversal, then you may probably see a hammer or some other kind of signal. So apparently this is not one of those that you want to consider entering for buys or for sells, but it's likely to give us a continuation of buys. To confirm that, for the continuation of buys, you clearly see the H1 giving you oversold down below there, same as M30, and of course I believe even M15 right down here when we saw that. So this can easily give us a glimpse that we are actually going to continue with buys or with an uptrend. So all you can do is wait, be patient. According to the new H4 candle that has just started, you could wait. The previous candle was a good strong buy candle, and I believe we could actually enter buys. We could actually enter buys on this asset. If we enter buys, it means if you have a small account, then your stop loss becomes just below, comes below this, probably the H1 10MA. The H1 10MA. If you have a big account, then probably you want to put your stop loss down below this move here. So those could be our points. So I'm not going to waste my time. I'm actually going to enter and have my stop loss down below here. and that means I will have my TP to give me a breakout and reach that target there. This can be even next week. This move may even happen on Monday or Tuesday, which may, depending on whether today we have news or not, we'll see. If we have news, then it can easily push and hit the target, or push, take me out, and then go up and hit the target, and then we come in with sales later. So I need to tell you all that because I don't have control of news. I only trade price action and smart money. So what I see is what I tell you. I don't go ahead to talk about fundamental analysis. I don't do fundamental analysis because I hate it myself. That's one of the most reasons why I moved away from trading forex, because I hate it. But most of the times you need to understand that fundamental news correspond to what price action already is showing. If your analysis according to price action is very good, is in the right direction, then you may not be worried about the fundamental news or the fundamental analysis, which will be the news. So you rather focus on price action. If the news find you in the market and you are following the trend or the direction of the price action, then unless if it is those kinds of spikes where it does something like this and then within a minute it again does that, yeah, if it is that, then it will take you, then again follow your direction. Sometimes it does that, we've seen those times, but you know that it will always follow the actual direction. That is what we know about news. They always follow the general trend of what you've already seen in price action. So for now, that's what I'm saying. The buys to continue. Why? Because of what we've seen on H1, M15 and M30. Perfect. That is enough on that is enough. We've entered buys here on gold, so that is enough on gold. Let's now do a recap and we call it a day. How are you, Patrick, Desmond, Julius? Good to see you guys, good to have you online. So now let's do a recap and we call it a day. So we started with crash. So I told you about crash, that this is the momentum that we are looking at, the buys to continue, and clearly you can see they are continuing. We have a breakout down here on this resistance trend line. Now I think we can enter. Can we enter? Not really, we have to wait on M5. This may be a fake breakout here, which can easily give us to put this trend line above there, so we have to wait for now. All right, boom 1000. It has touched that where we wanted it to reach. If you guys remember, I told you the first hour may be just a week according to H4, and the H4 candle is actually this. It started as a sell, and you can see that H1, that previous H4 closed as when it hit that level. But is it enough for us? We have to wait and see if it is enough for us. Yeah, so that means you can wait for M15 to give you a reversal. So M15 is likely going to give you something like that, and then entry, and then entry. So you just have to wait for now. For now, just wait. Boom 500, we need something like that, and then we enter. So until we see this pullback, we have no business. We cannot just enter buys in the middle. We have to wait for pullbacks, of which pullbacks can either come to this OB or can come to fair value gap like that, or whatever. So you need to be patient. V25, S, we are still looking for sales. We are still looking for sales, either to reach here 50% of this fair value gap, or to come to this OB right here, which is the H4 OB. Like I told you, this candle here that you're seeing, the indecision candle of H4, this will be the OB where price can easily react back to also. So that's why I have it like that. Or to break and actually come all the way down here and grab this liquidity on here, and then gives us the buy later. So for now, we are still looking for sales. Can we enter sales? I don't know. I think we can. I think we can. I think we can enter sales. Yeah, sales are on, but I may not enter them since I'm in already V75 and gold. All right, that's it. V75, we already entered our buys and we have our stop loss there, and we are waiting on those. The market is slow, as you can see. That is H1 candle. Look at how it is moving. Yeah, but we've already seen rejection coming in from buyers, so nevertheless, buyers are still on. We have to keep holding for now. J50, I told you the buy is on, and clearly you can see it has now broken that level and it has reached that 50%. So are we going to see some sales? It's a matter of waiting. So now this move is no longer valid. We can take it out. I've deleted that fair value gap. The fair value gap is right there. I need to take off that. So now we have to wait and see if it is going to give us sales from there. According to H4, we should be getting sales, but M15 is still going, so it's likely to give us a fake breakout up there. It's likely to give us a fake breakout up there. All right, that's enough of that. J25, we will be looking for sales, but it's better to look for sales when price goes below our 10 MA on H1, or when price goes below this trend line right here. J10, I've told you, according to M5, the buys are on to push for that pullback, and then we will come in later with sales, but we are not ready to enter that buy, are we? We may actually, since it is a pullback on HM5, it can easily continue before it reacts back. So know that the buy is on to push for those buys, and then later we will sell. Gold, lastly gold, we've entered buys. Why? Because we've seen the indecision according to daily time frame, yesterday's indecision candle, and today's rejection, how today has started as a rejection coming in from buyers. So that's the reason why we've entered. I've told you, most of the times when you see an indecision candle, most of the times it gives us an impression of continuation of the previous trend, of which our previous trend is a buy trend or is an uptrend. So that's why I've ended up getting in with my buys. And the other reason is I saw something like that. This is a W according to H1. This is a left arm, and it has given me that as a neckline, and that means it is looking for this other move to give me that kind of a W, the right arm. So that's why I've decided to make that entry. All right, I think that's it. I think you guys have picked one or two things you're going to work on and you're going to follow. I hope you had a great time with me. Please don't forget to subscribe if it is your first time here, and also don't forget to hit that like button, the thumb button, to give us a thumbs up. Otherwise, it's been a good time, and it's been a pleasure to take you through the analysis of today. Hope you can grab some money. These entries that we've made, gold and V75, hopefully we will be able to make some money. I'm seeing V75 is trying to push back. It's been like that, but we'll wait. I will hold on. If it takes me out, then I will hope for gold to give me the recovery and even give me some profits for the weekend. Let's see which other asset that is likely to give us some money. It was J10. J10 is likely to be one of those that you can focus on. So J10, focus on J10 for this sell down here, I mean up here, that kind of a sell up there. Well, which other assets? Let's see. Crash 500 actually, though the momentum will be very weird, because it has a low momentum. Yeah, you can wait for it. This also, boom 1000, is likely to be a good trade. If it gives us a pullback to enter according to M15, it will be a good trade for us to enter sales. Yeah, in fact, even boom 500. So today's market is quite something. If it keeps on the way it is moving, we are likely to get some good moves. We are likely to get a good move on boom 1000, boom 500, not V25. We are likely to get a good move on V75. We are likely to get a good move on J50. I believe J50 can even give us a good move, but not now. It may come in the evening or late night, not now. J25, yes, I told you sales are on, but not now. For you to enter, no, it's not now. You have to wait for H1 price to be below a 10 MA, or to wait for price to come, or to wait for price to be there. So this may not also be now, but it can, jumps jump, so it can easily jump and immediately goes below here, and then you have your entry. But the perfect assets or the perfect moves I've seen that are likely to come through if it continues with the momentum they have currently is boom 1000, boom 500, and J10. Those are the three assets I can tell you to focus on today. The rest, of course, we've already entered V75, so we know that one, whether it moves slow or not, we've already entered, and also gold. So, but these other three, there are some of those that I'm anticipating to have a good, if they can keep on with the momentum they have, then we may have a good moves. We may have good moves to make this money today. All right, so you can see that I told you it may actually continue, but if it happens to give you this kind of a move, then you don't have to wait for anything. If it happens to do this on M5, then you don't have to wait for anything. Just hop in and move, get that trade to make that money. All right, today I've talked a lot. Let me wish you guys a good day, happy trading, and happy weekend. Remember, tomorrow we have a meeting for the mentorship group. You guys will have a meeting, the review meeting, monthly review meeting, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Otherwise, have a good day, have a good weekend. Bye bye.